because we couldn't drill through any of those. Hello.
Peekaboo over here. Hello, it's about me now.
I'm ready to start.
I'm ready. Scott Brown here. Welcome to my friend's shop and guest house, Akitsu. Okay, you may remember a year and a half ago we were here in Japan, in Shiga, where Nikita lives, and we worked on her guest house, and the guest house needed a new ceiling, so we helped her put that plywood ceiling up, and it looked amazing. The thing about Japanese ceilings, you don't need a ladder. And we helped her a little bit with the floor that needed to be rebuilt as well. We needed to frame it, but we ran out of time, and we kind of left it there. Nikita took over from there, and I have a feeling, actually I know, she did a lot more work than we helped her with.
Just a little bit. Come on in. I feel like I'm letting AD into my house. You know how they're like,
yeah.
Do you want to do it again? Because I ruined that.
I'm very curious about the shop because that was our work area when we were here last time. We were cutting boards with it.
That's so true.
Remember that?
Welcome to Akitsu.
Right, so if you want a coffee, this is where you go in the village, right? That's what you sell?
Yeah, and heaps of locals actually do come for coffee. It's really nice. Come sit out here, have a yarn.
Yep.
Yeah, it's great. And then I have kind of life goods or homewares as well. In Japan you call it seikatsuzaka, like life things.
Right.
A little bit from home, a little bit from New Zealand as well. I've got Eco Store. I've got my friend's brand, the Provider Store, candles, room sprays. And then I have lots of like pottery from around Japan, vintage and new. And then coffee.
Normally this would be Scott, but he's already had 3 coffees today. Doesn't need any more. That is much better than those blended supermarket camping portable ones. Well, that's a nice cup of coffee.
So the last owners put these shelves in, so this was going to be his library. So I lucked out in the shop. I didn't do too much in here initially except for the roof, which was the upstairs flooring.
Yeah.
So this entire thing got pulled out.
Oh, wow.
And I numbered every board and saved them. And now it's the ceiling. It used to be the floor upstairs. But do you remember how flimsy it was? Do you want to see the floor?
Yeah.
It's a little bit weak right now. So it was a bit nerve-wracking, us working on ladders up here, putting in the ceiling.
It's like you're stepping on jelly.
That would not hold a one-ton bath.
Yeah, because I do remember very clearly it was just these boards and these two would stand on them and bounce and stand on ladders and I could see their feet coming through.
Yeah.
Still here to tell the
Health and safety manager Jess was not impressed.
Yeah, no, it was definitely not structurally sound, but it's very, very solid now.
Yeah.
Sent it to architect, 2 builders, I think. When the bath was being installed as well, I left all of this open so I could check if there was any movement in the joists.
Okay.
There was 5 workmen, I think, upstairs installing the bath at the time. So, Scott, just to put you at ease, there are 4 men standing in this one little section installing the bath right now. And I can't see any creaking or cracking or movement or sagging. You got 4 men standing in this one little room right now. And the bath itself is solid hinoki wood, so that in itself is heavy. But yeah, insulated in the new floor cavity, and then have construction plywood and then tatami on top upstairs.
This counter looks amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I designed this myself.
What is it made out of?
Aluminium.
Yeah, just solid aluminium.
Yeah. Initially made a little cardboard cutout version and then digitized it, found a company in Osaka that does laser cutting.
Is it all interlock or something?
Yeah, exactly.
That's so cool.
Yeah, inspired by joinery, I suppose. Yeah, my old boss, Futoshi-san, he was a little salty, I think, that I did it in aluminium and not timber.
Oh, really?
He was like,
missed out on a job.
Yeah, why would you make something in metal and not wood? But there's so much wood in here, I wanted to contrast it a little bit.
Yeah, well, that's the impression.
Nice accent.
It stands out because of that, right? Yeah. Now, over in this corner here, is a new window. And we're going to show you exactly how that window went in because we helped put it in.
Some sashes missing. They're inside being finished.
Yeah.
But they'll
with the
go in
oil.
later today. There used to be a smaller wall here that came to about here. So it wasn't that nice visually from the street looking in, seeing the taps and the sinks and everything. I also wanted to put in double glazing, and I wanted the window to be functional as like a coffee service window. I have people that come by for coffee who are maybe like going for a walk, like walking the dog. And in Japan, because you have to take your shoes off to come into a shop, can be a little clumsy. So if they can come and order a takeaway coffee from the window.
Yeah, very convenient.
Yeah, and then also to just create a bit more of an atmosphere at the front of the building.
As soon as the scaffold's down.
Yeah, it kind of feels like the building has its braces on right now. And then once it goes, it'll look all beautiful.
So everything in this room pretty much Nikita built. Like the shoji screens, the desk area, even the tub, the hinoki wood tub, and all the bathroom around it. But what was the hardest part?
Okay, definitely the bathroom.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the waterproofing, all the layers involved. I'm pretty sure there's 12 layers all up in this bathroom.
Oh my gosh.
And because it's on the second story of a 99-year-old Japanese timber house, there was no plumbing to this building at all. So even figuring out where plumbing could go and then trying to hide it, because all the walls are made of clay. So you have no cavities to put plumbing through.
Oh my gosh.
So figuring out how that would all work. But then I did all the like mortaring, I did the screed floors myself. Wire is down, and second coat of liquid waterproof membrane is on. Mortaring, I did the screed floors myself, I did all the waterproofing myself, and I did all of the hand troweled micro cementing myself.
So that's what that is, micro cement.
I had a very, very specific idea for the colour in mind, and on the first coat it wasn't right. It was more tealy blue. It was still green, but it, you know that like scrubs green, which has a bit more of like a bluey tone to it, and I hated it. Anyway, I wanted a very like yellowy green, like a very vibrant bright green. So I stopped, and I ended up going back to the company ordering a whole pot of yellow. I was tossing up between like, do I wait a week to get it right, or do I just like
Live
forge
with the
ahead?
colour.
Yeah. But no, I'm so glad I waited and did it right, because it's like the statement piece, I think, this colour. And I always knew this was going to be a hotel room, right? So I wanted to do things that were a little bolder, maybe something that you wouldn't necessarily do in your own home. But you guys love colour. You do that all the time in your home, which I really admire. But I think some people can be a little nervous to do that, to be like, will I get over it? Will I get sick of it?
Well, as an aside, throughout this whole time since we were here, we've kept in touch with Nikita. Like, we do video calls every week, we chat all the time, we become really good friends. And whenever we have doubts about our house, we're always like, Nikita, what do you think? do you like it? Like, almost asking for permission
So
to
great.
make these...
That bathroom tile, I'd love to say I was 100% confident. I was the 45% confidence and 65% Nikita's approval.
No, I'm so glad you went with a bold choice. I think it really paid off.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
What about the sink that you're...
Oh, it's a feat.
Nikita's dad carried this sink up here. How heavy is it? It must be like 40 kilos.
I think it's almost 60.
Yeah, my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah.
It's a solid stone sink.
And because it's wall hung as well, I had to do a lot of work to like build out the framing to make sure it could hold the weight of the sink. At your instruction, put in that top beam on top of my wall framing, which is then notched into both main beams.
Yep.
So this actually becomes load bearing.
Yeah, that floor had to be solid.
Yeah.
So it makes it harder to find plumbing routes, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then because we couldn't drill through any of those. Hello.
Peekaboo over here. Hello, it's about me now.
I'm ready to start.
I'm ready. It's like lit up as well. Hello. Anyway, where were we?
We couldn't like drill through any of those new floor joists because it would defeat the whole purpose of putting them in the first place. So we had to end up like dropping down below the floor level in the shop and finding a new route out of the building, which in hindsight worked. Like we were able to cover it all up and there's curtains and things and you can't see it. But we'd definitely go for structural over aesthetics any day.
And you said there hasn't been a single crack yet, right?
Yeah,
It
which
worked well.
I'm very happy with for micro cement. I was nervous that it would hold up, especially being in such an old building, timber building, but also micro cementing onto old clay walls. I had to do a lot of work in preparing them and strengthening them before I could even apply any of the layers of the micro cementing to them so that they were solid, because I mean they can just crumble essentially unless you're sealing them properly.
And then to add to it, last couple of weeks we've been working on the cladding outside. We've been hammering against this micro cement wall. How you must have been nervous.
I was so nervous.
Yeah.
But it held up.
It held up. Alright, we've been staying in this room and there's so many great little details in here. I don't know if I have a favourite. I love the shoji door at the back here, the one above the bed. And when it's open, you've got this beautiful view of the garden. And I love the light switches. I think they're really cool.
They're one of my favourites too.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was super intentional about sourcing products that were from Japan. I knew I was always going to be having a foreigner's take on Japanese architecture. I wasn't trying to fake that in any way, but I wanted to use as many Japan-made things as I could. The light switches was a big one. They're Japan-made, and I spent way more than you would for a standard light switch, but they're very tactile, and I love that feeling. So that would be one of my favorites. Also, the door handles probably on the drawer.
I was going to ask you, how did you cut those? Because they're so cool.
So I went down to one of the workshops in town, because this is a wood carving village. And I went down to Ijiri-san's workshop and he helped me on the bandsaw cut out the grooves, and he did kind of like a crude cut, I guess, but then I had shape to work with and then I sanded them.
To get them nice
to
and
the texture I wanted, and then I cut out the handle shapes.
Yeah, no, it's so cool. It's like an exaggerated handle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it really looks great.
Very, very bold. These are in cherry, so there's quite a few like cherry trims. There's a lot of different timbers in here. The closet is lawan, the trims are cherry. You've got the sugi shoji, there's alcova in the end plates. You've got the sapili in the track. There's a lot of different timbers working together.
Goes to show that they can work.
I also tried to find vintage shoji screens. So the ones behind the bed are vintage, and same with the ones to the bathroom. And then the Honoki bath, that was a really key point I wanted in the room.
Yeah.
Bathing is such a big part of the culture in Japan, and then especially in hinoki wood, which has natural anti-anxiety properties, natural essential oils that infuse into the bath water as you bathe, which are naturally calming. But the smell is also just beautiful. So it's like aromatherapy.
As someone who's experienced that hinoki bath, it works well. I have no anxiety. No, it's great. It's a really nice bath. It's so comfortable. You know, it's very rare that us builders get to come back and look at the finished product. We always leave.
Nice?
Yeah, it is nice. So, and to stay in it, no less. And we always leave when like the plasterboard's just gone on and like there's still cables hanging out of the wall, and you're like, all right, I hope it turns out all right. And you leave off to the dirt again. Yeah. So it's cool to see all this.
Well, what you did kind of becomes the hero, I guess, because whenever you're laying in bed, you're just laying up.
You're looking at the moon
ceiling.
and the ceiling. Signature, right? Isn't that what that is?
Yeah, that's the date it was built, which is Showa Ninen, 1927, and the original builder and the original owner of the house. So this building is 99 years old. It's going to be 100 next year.
Wow, just like your next door neighbor.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that man who's just visiting us, he's 99 years old and he was born in that house just there next door.
Yeah.
And he still lives there. He didn't move far.
100 years, just
100
about.
years. And
he said I have skinny long legs. What did you say? 99 is still hitting on you?
Yeah, literally. He's still got it.
He's still got it.
This building is 99 as well, so I guess this means it was built the year he was born.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
We were talking about last night, like I wish I could just like drop in like a ghost into this town 100 years ago.
Oh, that would be so cool.
You've come over from Australia, for people who didn't see the videos before.
Yes.
And you've come into this small Japanese village of how many houses?
About 120 houses.
120 houses. And you've opened up a shop and you're selling stuff and you're making coffee. What do people say? Like, what is their perception?
I think they love it.
Yeah?
Honestly, been super excited to have something new and different. Most people in this village were like born and raised here, and maybe they went away for a short time, but often come back if you're like raising family or retiring. To have someone who's so different to them from a new culture, someone quite young, because the average age would be 60 plus in this village. I think it's really exciting, but I also think I got really lucky with my village in particular.
The party after the tulip festival.
Yeah.
That's how they use all the money. That's why they have to take it back.
I'm also to blame. Apparently, so we spent all the funds at a party, and so now we need to make it back. So the idea is the recycling party. Apparently they're saying I'm also to blame because I was present at the said party.
So they spent too much money on the party because you were there.
Council funds. That's so funny.
You better get recycling, Nikita.
Oh no. I already gave them all my extra pots and pans to sell at the Natsumatsuri, the summer festival. We had a little like op shop type stand, so I gave them a bunch of like pots and pans to sell at the little op shop.
Nice, nice.
Oh, actually, there's metal pipes there. I could put in my old clothesline.
Two stories that Nikita has told me that have really struck me is prior to Nikita moving here, and keep in mind, no one knew Nikita before she moved here. No one knew she was going to buy this house because you bought it remotely.
Yeah, bought it from Australia. I'd never been to the village.
Right, so prior to that happening, the village had a meeting, like an emergency meeting, if you will, to talk about the dwindling population and to discuss ways to bring young people and commerce back into the village. They had a meeting specifically about that. And then 2 months later, this 29-year-old Aussie appears. It just must have been like, oh, wow, okay. Thanks Shinto, thanks Buddhism, you know. And the second story is Nikita is actually currently reapplying for her visa. So you're on
I'm on a business manager visa.
which you have to renew every year.
Yeah, at least initially. They can extend it for longer periods, but new businesses typically get 1 year at a time while they audit your business. Yeah.
And they've currently changed the visa requirements, which have now made it more complicated for Nikita to reapply, despite all this investment. And so Nikita has submitted a novel to immigration, and in it she was telling me that there are letters from the town, one of which was the manager of the temple, so an important person within the community, and he said
Temple priest, yeah.
Temple priest, and I believe his line was, it is, what did he say?
It is a fact that Nikita has revitalized this entire region, is how he ended it, which made me cry at the time. I think like it's such a touching thing to know that like all this effort is making a positive difference, but then equally scary that because of a political change that could be all for nothing. But all you can do is try. Like, I don't know how it's going to go, but
You'll just pray to the immigration gods, go under a waterfall, is that what you do? For Nikita to get, we want 3 years extension business manager visa.
that would be great.
That's what we're asking for, okay? It's going to happen. Yeah, anyway. But yeah, that when you told me what the temple manager said, I mean, that made me tear up a bit, because what could be more validating?
Yeah. I think also one of my favourite compliments one of my neighbours gave me just a couple of weeks ago, it was the fishing festival where we all go fishing in the river. They actually release fish into the river specifically for this event. So there's normally like 2,000 fish. I think this year there was only maybe 500, but still it was fun. Everyone comes out and you just fish and you have a big cook up together. And then there was a few guys sitting around having beers after eating fish, and one of them said, come in, you got fun since Nikita moved here. And I was just like, oh my gosh, it's got to be one of the best compliments ever.
Totally.
But they're a whole lot of fun too.
If you want to experience this town, like the magic of it, the easiest way is if you're staying in Kyoto, come up here. It's only like, 25 minutes on the Shinkansen? 18 minutes on the Shinkansen, and then you catch from Maibara and then either taxi or car, or you can catch another little train to Samagai, then from here. If you're hiring a car in Japan, which we're doing, by the way, for Aussies and Kiwis, it's actually really easy because it's all on the same side. You just need an international driver's license. Come here, grab a coffee.
We've had an amazing time staying here the last couple of weeks and helping you with the cladding and everything. Videos coming up very soon. But we're going to Osaka now, so we're gonna leave.
Enjoy, thank you.
Enjoy.
I've got another guest checking in anyway, so.
All right, bye. See you in the next exciting episode. Hope you enjoyed this one. Bye. dinner time.